You would think the biggest story around Taylor Swift right now would be a new album, or a surprise announcement, or another record-breaking moment. But instead, fans are talking about something else entirely. Because for the first time in years, Taylor Swift has gone quiet, and the silence is starting to make people nervous. No major announcements, fewer appearances, minimal social media, and after dominating pop culture for what felt like non-stop years, the sudden calm feels unusual. Fans have started calling it the silent era. And what makes this theory even more interesting is that Taylor Swift does not usually disappear without a reason. Because every time Taylor has gone quiet before, something big followed.
I just want to say, first of all, to receive. Oh, thank you. We don't. I just want to say, first of all, to receive this award from Alyssa, who you brought me so much happiness and everyone else so much happiness with your performances. And I was so inspired by how much diligence and work and effort and love you have for what you do. And to be receiving Artist of the Year, which is, I love being an artist. I love writing songs more than anything in the world. And I didn't think I was an artist when I first started doing it. It was a hobby. It was a hobby, and then it was my favorite hobby. And then it was what I would like rush home from school to do. It was like, I can't wait to get back to my guitar in my room and write a song. And I just want to say, like, when I was 12 years old, I had the luxury of spending thousands of hours working at my craft, practicing, making mistakes, through trial and error. And that was all completely unobserved, right? So that was just me and my craft. And I'm looking out into this crowd and I'm seeing so many ambitious, cool, smart, awesome people who have dreams. And like we live in this world where there's so much immediate feedback constantly. Like you get feedback for everything you share with the world now. Like everything you post, you get feedback, whether it's good or bad or whatever. I just want to say, if I had one hope for you, I would say that I hope that you get to nurture your hobby and your passion just between you and that craft. And you give yourself time. Give yourself time to make mistakes. Give yourself time to hone your craft. I'm a firm believer that anything you feed your mind, it will internalize. Anything you feed the internet, it will attempt to kill. And I don't want that for your dreams. So just thank you for allowing me to turn my hobby into a love, into a passion, into a dream, into a career. Thank you for allowing me to have it this long. And I wish you the best with everything you do. Thank you so much for this amazing, amazing night.
But this time, the silence feels different, because instead of preparing for a comeback, some fans think Taylor Swift might be preparing for something much bigger. And the clues may have already started, because if you look closely, the shift did not happen overnight. It started right after one of the most dominant runs in modern pop culture, the Eras Tour. For nearly 2 years, Taylor Swift was not just successful, she was everywhere. Record-breaking ticket sales, sold-out stadiums across continents, a concert film that dominated theaters, and headlines that seemed to follow her every move. It was not just a tour, it became a cultural event. And at one point, it even felt like Taylor Swift was not just part of pop culture, she was controlling it. But then, something changed. After months of constant visibility, fans began noticing fewer appearances. The headlines slowed down. The social media activity became less frequent, and suddenly, the non-stop momentum turned into something quieter. And that is when the silent era theory really started gaining traction. Because longtime fans noticed something familiar. Taylor Swift has done this before. Back in 2016, after one of the most intense public backlashes of her career, Taylor disappeared almost entirely from public view. No interviews, no major appearances, very little online presence. And then, reputation happened. The silence was not random. It was strategic. It created anticipation. It shifted the narrative. And when Taylor returned, the impact was massive. Fans also pointed to another moment. In 2020, Taylor Swift went quiet again. Then suddenly, Folklore dropped without warning, followed by Evermore. Once again, silence became the setup. which is why this current moment is making fans pay attention. Because when Taylor Swift goes quiet, history suggests she is planning something. But this time, the silence feels different, because instead of recovering from controversy or preparing a surprise album, this silence feels more intentional. And some fans believe it has less to do with music and more to do with strategy, because there is something else happening beneath the surface. After years of dominating headlines, Taylor Swift reached a level of visibility that very few artists ever reach. And with that level of visibility comes a risk that even the biggest stars face: overexposure. Being everywhere can build momentum, but staying everywhere for too long can make audiences less surprised. And Taylor Swift has always been extremely careful about timing. She understands the power of scarcity, because when something becomes rare, it becomes more valuable. And stepping back after the Eras Tour may not just be about rest, it may be about control. Because instead of chasing attention, Taylor may be creating demand again. And that is where things start getting even more interesting. Because fans expected something else to happen by now. Reputation Taylor's version? For months, speculation had been building. Fan theories, timeline predictions, and hidden clues. Many believed the announcement was coming soon. But instead, silence. No announcement, no confirmed timeline, no clear clues. And that absence only made the theory stronger. Because delaying something fans are expecting can actually increase anticipation. It creates tension. It keeps audiences watching. And Taylor Swift has mastered this kind of rollout before, which is why some fans believe the delay might be intentional. Not because nothing is happening, but because something bigger is being planned. But fans also noticed something else. The silence is not just professional. It is personal, too. For months, Taylor Swift's relationship with Travis Kelce became one of the biggest celebrity storylines. Public appearances, game day moments, and media coverage everywhere. It felt like the spotlight had expanded beyond music. But recently, the public appearances slowed down. The headlines became less frequent, and the relationship moved further out of the spotlight, which led some fans to believe that Taylor may be shifting back toward privacy, and that shift could signal something else. Because throughout her career, Taylor Swift has often pulled back before entering a new era. It creates distance from the previous chapter. It resets the narrative, and it gives the next move more impact. And that is why some fans believe this might not just be a quiet period. It might be a transition. Because after the Eras Tour, Taylor Swift reached a different level of influence. She is no longer just one of the biggest pop stars. She is becoming something else entirely: a legacy artist. And legacy artists often move differently. Fewer appearances, more intentional releases, and less constant visibility. Artists like Beyoncé have used this strategy successfully. Appear less, but make every moment bigger. And some fans believe Taylor Swift may be moving in that direction. Because stepping back now does not reduce her influence. It actually increases it. And it makes every future appearance feel more important. And if this really is the silent era, then the next move could be massive. Because historically, Taylor Swift's quiet periods do not last forever. They usually lead to something: a new album, a surprise announcement, or a major shift. And fans are already watching for clues. Some believe Reputation Taylor's version is still coming. Others think an entirely new project could be in development. There is even speculation about documentaries or major business moves happening behind the scenes. And while none of that has been confirmed, the pattern is hard to ignore. Because Taylor Swift has built her career on timing, on anticipation, on knowing exactly when to step forward and when to step back. Which is why the silence itself has become the story. Because in Taylor Swift's world, silence rarely means nothing. It usually means something is building. And if this really is Taylor Swift's silent era, then history suggests this quiet moment may just be the calm before something much bigger. Because when Taylor Swift disappears, she usually comes back louder than ever. And this time, fans think the next era might already be closer than anyone realizes.